everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. And oh, am I glad you joined me today. I have got an amazing card to share with you. It's kind of a interesting card that it's a tent card, but it's also a diorama card. And I have got some tips and tricks on how to create that tent and that diorama that is going to make it so easy. You're going to love it. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Let's head over to the stamping table and create a tent card.
All right, let's jump right in. So this is what I mean by the diorama. Of course, there's the tent. Okay, so you can see we have some accordion folds here. That's going to create the tent. And then inside, you can see we've kind of done a fun little diorama. You know, I played with this idea and I came up with some ideas that are going to make it a lot easier to create. I found I was putzing with it a lot, so I'm here to show you the easy tips. So let's go ahead and get started. Guys, I hope it's okay. We're going to start with the baby card. This one has some sweet little ladybugs on it. Blessings, or babies are a blessing, and it is a fun one. And get this, it really is not going to take a lot of cardstock. This is what we need. My card base, this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. So that's just a standard A2 card. I've got another piece of, oh, by the way, I'm using balmy blue here. This piece is a 3 by 4 1/8. I just wanted to cut it a skosh less there. And then what I did is I put that 3 inches up at the top and I scored it at every half inch. So 1/2 inch, 1, 1 1/2, 2, and 2 1/2. All right. That's going to create the accordion for the tent. And so for the diorama, I need a 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to do some die cutting with that. We are going to use the deckled rectangles to create this. If you have another set of dies, feel free to change it up. I'm going to be using the deckled rectangles, but I think as you see the card be created, you'll recognize you really can use anything. I'm going to bring in my stamp set. And I'm actually using 2 today. So I'm going to use Hello Ladybug because I loved that great big leaf. And then I'm also going to use Charming Sentiments because I loved the babies are a blessing. We're also going to use this flower here as well. So let's start with some stamping and a balmy blue ink pad and this little set of flowers. Now what I want to do, I'm going to kind of focus on just the outside edges here, okay? Because the inside's going to be die cut, so we're not even going to see it. Do you notice how I'm just kind of rotating the cardstock and the stamp so it doesn't get too much of an identical look? That's a good random tip there for you. We'll put one here. Let me get one more right there. You know, I'm a little concerned I won't have enough, so there we go. One extra. It's not going to hurt anything. Hard. So now I can come in with my deckled rectangles. And let's see, I think I'm going to be using the 4th from the largest. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I want to make sure I have a decent sized border all around there. So that is what we're going to die cut from the center of our cards. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to grab my die cutting machine. We need plate 1, thin plate adapter 2, a cutting plate 3. Now we can lay our cardstock here on our card, and you're just going to center that 4th from the largest die. We'll put that right there. Top it with another number 3 cutting plate. Let's run that through the machine. Now don't let that machine get too far away from you because we're going to die cut a little bit more. But that is the first window to our tent. But do you see our diorama? We have another die cut here on our basic white. So I'm going to bring that one in. And let me go ahead. We're going to go down a notch. So this is just one size smaller of a die. You see I've got that one centered up in there. I'm going to add plate number 3. Let's die cut this as well. All right, so we've die cut that. We're going to do one more. We're going to go down one more notch. And we are going to die cut from that little leftover piece. So this is for level 2 here of our diorama. And so we're going to die cut one more time And that will give me this, and that's going to be for our sentiment. Done. So I'm going to bring in a soft sea foam. You know, it's a baby card. We want things to be nice and soft. From Ladybug, we are going to stamp that great big leaf. Beautiful. Now I'm going to come in and make my sentiment. And remember, that was babies are a blessing. And I'm going to use Bubble Bath. What I liked about this card is it's going to be great for neutral. You don't know whether it's a boy or a girl? Well, guess what? We've got blues, we've got greens, and we've got a very nice pink going on there. So we're good for anything, because not everyone does a gender reveal these days, right? Okay.
Not to worry if you've missed any of those measurements, because I've got that free download for you. You can find it at simplysimplestamping.com, or you can just look down in the YouTube description. There you'll find a direct link to today's post where you can download all my measurements so that you'll be ready to recreate the card like that. All right, now that we have that, are you ready to learn how to put all of those pieces together? All right, let me show you how.
Okay, so to put our card together, I'm going to start with that piece of cardstock that I had you score every 1/2 inch. And let's do some work with our bone folder. We're just going to accordion fold back and forth, back and forth. Very simple. And this is what's going to create that tint. It's going to allow the card to stand, but it's also going to act as a little stand right here for our diorama. Now you could leave the diorama off and just create a tint card, but it's so easy to add the layer. Why not? You see, it's just going to sit right in there. Okay, I told you I had tips and tricks, so here we go. I am going to adhere one section of my accordion right here, and I want the flat side to be down level with the card versus being like with the fold down there. Does that make sense? We want this edge to be with the edge of our card. I think multi-purpose glue is probably going to be your easiest adhesive, but you know what? Your Stampin' Seal, you would be able to do that as well. I want you guys to see that this piece of cardstock is a little bit smaller than my card, and I did that for a reason. I didn't want there to be any overhang, so you can see there's just a little scotch here on either side, and that is fine. I do not want to adhere this together yet, all right? All I want is just this first part of the accordion. Okay, now I am going to come in. It's time to play with our frame. So here is my tip. Stampin' Dimensionals are what is going to make this so easy. All right, here's what we're going to do. I am going to put my frame right inside here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of center it up. This is just a visual for right now. All right, we want to get a feel for our diorama. I've got it right there. I'm going to tuck it in this very first accordion fold. And the reason I kind of want to test this first is I may need to trim this piece down. But you know what? It looks like it's all fitting in there just right. So no worries at all. I'm going to be fine. Should you need to trim off a little bit here or a little bit here, feel free. Because look, my frame's not perfectly centered, all right? So you kind of want to take a look at that before you get started so that you know which is the best way to put it in and if you need to do any trimming, all right? Well, now that I'm good with that, I'm going to move this accordion out of the way for a second. I am going to center up my frame. When I'm happy with it, I'm going to lift this up. I'm not going to move my hand. You could also, if you wanted to, you could put a couple clear blocks, heavy clear blocks on it. And I'm going to add 3 dimensionals here across the top. But for my diorama, I'm actually going to layer 2 Stampin' Dimensionals right on top of one another because I want this to really have some pop. So look what I'm going to do. We're going to add 2 more right on top. By the way, this is an optional step. You could just do the 2, but I really liked the additional pop. So try it both ways and see which way you like best. All right, we're going to remove the backings and I'm going to slowly bring this down. I want to make sure I'm still centered, and I am. we'll give that a press. Do you see the diorama going on there? Okay, perfect. That is exactly what we want. Remember I told you how we're going to test everything? So I'm going to give this a little fold. I just tucked it into, you see it's just tucked right in here in the accordion, and I want to make sure there's no buckling. Like if that were buckling, and it's, oh, maybe a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. But if it was a problem, I could come in with my paper trimmer and I could just snip a little edge off of that. And look, do you see how I could just go whoosh? So you could always trim it if you need to. That's why we don't put anything together until we're good. That's probably one of my best tips for creating this, is that right there. Okay, I'm going to come in now with my Babies Are a Blessing. You could use Stampin' Dimensionals on this as well, and I think it would still look really cute. You can go flat. Either way, there's no right or wrong. Since my multi-purpose glue is out, we're going for it. All right. There's my sentiment. Things are looking great. Remember, I still have not adhered it together. That's going to happen at the end. Let's do a little decorating here. And I'm going to bring in my original. And you can see I added a couple ladybugs, but I did it a little bit different. I loved this paper. This is from Bright and Beautiful. And those polka dots on there were they were so ladybug. And they're so great for this card. But I need to show you something. The opposite side has this great bubble bath color. I punched from over here and I ended up with a white ladybug. I want a pink ladybug. So I want to make sure I'm focused on this end of my paper. And guys, we are going to simply punch out 2 ladybugs. Let's see if I can get 2 out of this. And you know what? I can't, but watch this. We're going to we're going to punch that one. And then I can get a set of leaves from over here. So I don't waste anything. I wanted to make sure I got as much as I could out of that piece of designer series paper. All right, before I put this together, I also did not want her little antennae to be pink. So I'm going to come in with a basic black Stampin' Right marker. And I'm just going to give those a quick swoosh with my marker. Of course, we're going to do that to both of them. And now we are ready to add our sweet little, our little polka dot wings. Aren't those so great? So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right here at the top. And you see that's going to line up right at the neck. It's just too easy, right? Okay, it's time to add these to our card. So my first one, I'm going to be adding right up here, and I want to make sure I'm going to avoid the sentiment. We wouldn't want to cover it. So I can kind of see, I'm going to put some glue right here at the bottom of my ladybug and make sure we're sticking to just the balmy blue cardstock, okay? We don't want to adhere anything to the diorama, okay? Now this one is actually going to go onto the diorama, and I want her to just kind of come in and barely kind of touch that leaf. So now you see why we didn't put anything together. We needed to get to this. So I can see I need just a little bit of glue. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just a little bit right here. And I can add that ladybug. And with that, my friends, it's time to put this card together. It really is that easy. So remember what I said about your white piece. First of all, you might want to test it one more time. And if you have any buckle right in here, remember, you can trim it away. So feel free to do that. All right, that is going to sit, not adhered. It's just going to sit. That's what's the other thing. It's going to make this card really easy. We're not even going to adhere it down. But we are going to adhere this to the inside of our card, just the way we did it before. So I will put my multi-purpose glue here. I'm going to tuck that diorama, the white, right in there and adhere these 2 ends together. Let me flip it over. Remember, it is not perfectly centered, but we do want to line it up as best we can, the top and the bottom. I'm going to give that a press. And my friends, we have this fabulous mantle-worthy card. Isn't it sweet? Oh my goodness, I just love it. All right, now we're going to create a really fun birthday card. And this one, I used a different set of dies. I used the Irresistible Blooms because I thought it was just so festive, especially for a birthday card. And I got a little creative with the zoo crew, with my little alligator and my raccoon. So let me show you how we're going to create this card. Now the supplies for this card are much like our other ones. Everything stayed the same. I'm going to use Berry Burst, and that is 4 1/4 by 5.5, or I'm sorry, by 11, scored at 5.5. I have a Berry Burst 3 by 4 1/8 with the 3 inches up at the top. Remember, you score it half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. And then in our other card, we used Basic White, but for this one, we're going to use a little lemon lime twist, 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And for this one, I want to feature a brand new stamp set and bundle. This is called Zany Zoo. This is so cute. I mean, first of all, a llama knitting. It's priceless. But it's got some really great images in it, and it has a matching die set. But did you know that these dies work on the designer series paper as well? So when you need a quick card, I'm telling you, this is awesome. So there's my alligator. And if I flip over to my next sheet, there is my sweet little raccoon. Remember, we have a stamp set as well, and you're welcome to stamp it either way. But I just wanted to show off this paper. And guys, this continues with the llama, the sloth meditating. Oh my gosh, it's fabulous, fabulous paper. Every piece of paper has a die that will work on that paper. I mean, oh my gosh, it's so cute. Yep, every piece. So what I did is I kind of trimmed off my designer series paper, and you can see right here and right here, I was able to die cut from the paper. Remember, you can stamp them as well, but it's nice to know, quick and easy right here. All right, we're going to get to stamping with a Berry Burst ink pad, and this has a great little confetti going on. We're going to stamp randomly, just like we did before. We're going to stamp all around the edges of our card base. And there is something I need to show you. So we're going to be using the Irresistible Blooms for our die cut. And I can kind of just lay that right there and see I need a little bit more stamping here and down here near the bottom. If I go a little bit over, that's fine. That's not going to be a problem, but we want to make sure that we don't want to do more than we need to, right? So I can see that's going to work perfectly. Now we do need to die cut another circle, right? So let me show you what I'm going to do here. I'm just basically setting that in there, and I'm going to use my Stitched Circles dies. And let's see, I think I'm going to be using the 3rd from the largest. So I'm just going to set it in there just to kind of give myself a general idea where it goes. Remember, we can always trim it away. So I have that centered up where I need it to go. I'm going to go run that through my machine as well. I do want to die cut one more circle. I want to take the Happy Birthday to You, and I've just got a little piece of Basic White. This is a 2 by 2 scrap, but I'm going to stamp my Happy Birthday to You, and I'm going to do that in some black ink. And I'm going to take one more circle die, and let's die cut ourselves a Happy Birthday to You. All right, that is done. I want to set this aside because I want to show you what I'm going to do with my little alligator. I'm going to bring my grid paper back in because I'm going to do just a little bit of coloring. So I'm going to use a Stampin' Blend. You could use a Stampin' Write marker as well. But this is the Light Tahitian Tide. And I wanted to bring in a little color on that bicycle. And I was using my black Stampin' Write marker earlier on the ladybug. So let's go ahead and color the tires. Now for my little raccoon, I'm going to use some Stampin' Blends again. The bronze and the ivory. With the bronze, I'm going to color in his belly. And let's avoid those eyes, but we want to color in right here. I'll probably get his ears too. How about here on the paws and the tail? Of course, we've got lots of different markers and Stampin' Blends in these colors, so feel free to change it up we'll just now color in the rest of our raccoon. See, that's what's kind of fun. Because Stampin' Up! Left, they colored in the balloons. So it's still going to look great if you just want to use it on regular paper. But we do have the option to color if we want. And of course, that means we can customize it. Now, we are ready to die cut both the raccoon and my alligator. Just use the dies to die cut. I'm going to show you how to put this card together. Remember, we have our accordion fold. We're going to adhere that right down here at the bottom. Remember, the flat side is going to go to the flat side of the card. Now we add our lemon lime twist right here to the inside. I'm going to center up that circle, open up my card, and we are going to add 3 dimensionals across the top. Remember what I said, it was optional if you wanted to double up on them. How about on this one, we'll just use the 3. That way, I'm going to put my sentiment kind of off to the side here just a little bit. And remember, Stampin' Dimensionals or adhesive, that is up to you. And I can just lay that, put my happy birthday right there. Everything's good. I'm going to add my raccoon. Let's kind of get a feel for where he's going to go. I want him to show, so let's bring him up a little bit higher, but I don't want him to interfere with my happy birthday either. So I might just kind of bring him a little bit at an angle there. A little glue on him. That's fabulous. Okay, we're going to put this together. So remember what we do. We only put our glue here on this bottom tab. Tuck our lemon lime twist right there. Give that a press. I'm doing good. Okay, everything's looking good. The last thing I have to do is add my little alligator. And this time, again, a little bit different from how this one turned out. It's just kind of where it goes. I think the alligator is going to go here on the other side. And I'll put just a little bit of glue on him. And we'll have him kind of sit right there by our little raccoon. All right, let me bring in my other card, guys. These tent cards, first of all, we love that they stand. We love that little diorama going on. So much fun. I hope that you'll give these cards a try. I trust me when I say the recipient is going to love them.
I appreciate you guys being here. Hey, if you liked today's video, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, why not become a subscriber and let YouTube let you know whenever I'm back with a new video? I share twice a week here on my channel. I'd love to have you be a part. While you're at it, invite your crafty friends. The more the merrier, as I always say. Thank you again for being here. Can't wait to stamp with you guys on the next video. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.